wanted to ask about the travel ban on Muslims.
Yeah, it's not a ban.
It's not a travel ban.
You just called it a ban.
Because I'm using your words.
He's using the words that the media is using.
You said ban.
You have been part of the confusion.
Actress Melissa McCarthy's Sean Spicer impression was a hit with tens of millions. But for at least one viewer, we know it went over like a truck off a cliff.
We happen to have a president who tweets in real time his reactions to things that are communicated through media. So we do have a sense that he was none too pleased.
Does anybody else have any questions?
As that was on and those questions were being raised and the Sean Spicer thing was rebroadcast and there were discussions of the impersonation of Stephen Bannon by the Grim Reaper.
Hey, Steve, I'm getting too worked up. Maybe I should stop.
Or maybe you should call Germany.
Then Trump actually tweeted a response that he is calling the shots, which indicates that something got under his skin.
That's your word.
For political comedy, this is an unusual effect, according to Danigal Young, who studied the psychology of satire for 15 years.
How unusual, how it never happened before, no precedent for this. That's how unusual it is. We don't have real time footage of, or we don't have a real-time dialogue with these leaders, except we do now.
The immediate feedback of a Trump tweet may be new, but American elites have felt the bite of TV political satire since the 1960s.
Goodbye, Tinkerbell.
Enter the Smothers Brothers.
Two of the funniest guys that I've ever met. The Smothers Brothers.
Tom and Dick Smothers, they had this kind of folk-inspired banter back and forth, and they actually got assigned the coveted spot on CBS. They assumed that they weren't going to do well there, but they showed up and they did great. And what was happening was they were actually tapping into young viewers who were starting to enter the phase of the counterculture through the era of the Vietnam War. Their content starts to get edgier, right? They end up with Rob Reiner as a writer and Steve Martin as a writer. And they're getting edgier and edgier. Executives were not comfortable with that.
Do you think entertainers should exert political influence?
If they want to, if they can, and if they're moved enough.
It became a serious issue after Nixon was elected. Because Nixon actually had allies that were executives at CBS, and he could just make calls and say, I don't like what these boys are doing. I don't like their criticism of the Vietnam War.
The war in Vietnam keeps on a-raging.
The network tightened a noose of censorship on their show, triggering a public showdown.
I feel if television in the United States isn't opened up, it'd be the easiest way for the country to become totalitarian by the control of the media.
Now, you're putting everything on the line in this fight, even to the point that you might have to withdraw as a television personality yourself, an on-air personality?
Well, on CBS, it looks like I'll have to withdraw.
CBS canceled the Smothers Brothers. In the coming decades, TV was liberated not by political comedy, but by profit.
Media deregulation happened, which means that the profit that these media outlets could earn went through the roof.
And you know what, young man?
As you push forward into the 90s, it's not about what the elites tell us that is okay for the public to see. Instead, it's about what does the public want? And if the public wants it, they're going to watch it, and then it'll make a ton of money.
Are you judging us?
So that is why you end up seeing more and more scandalous content.
Where is Jason?
Oh, yeah, he'll be right back. He's just buying some crack.
It's led to a golden age of political comedy on TV, and politicians have played along, thick-skinned until now.
How simple can
My question now is, what's going to happen with Trump? Which model are we? Because Saturday Night Live right now is getting major views, major ratings. Are we in the model in which viewers' desires and preferences drive success? Or are we in a model like 50 years ago where top-down control is going to say, I don't like this, you can't put this on TV? I can't even fathom that, but I also have not been able to fathom many of the things that have happened over the past year.
Satire now has competition from deliberate misinformation posing as real news.
Sean Spicer, our press secretary, gave alternative facts.
The White House touts alternative facts and brands real news as fake.
These attempts to lessen the enthusiasm of the inauguration are shameful and wrong.
Against this, political comedy seems less a cure, more an anesthetic.
Filthy lying mouth.
You know, it's not an accident that it's often the last thing that people watch before they go to bed, right? I mean, it's designed that way for a reason. It's supposed to make you feel like, okay, the world is falling apart, and then you're like, oh, but I'm laughing about it, and now I can go nighty-nights.
But research on its psychological effects suggests satire does have power.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump...
Humor has the ability to suspend counter-argumentation in a way that regular discourse does not. When things are presented in a humorous way, you're going to get less resistance. If, and only if, the audience is willing to take the subject matter into the realm of play to begin with.
If it's seen as a joke first, political second, comedy can jump the partisan divide. For Trump, that makes things like Melissa McCarthy's impression a threat.
Radical Muslims.
It's Sean Spicer. It's not Trump. And it's about his sort of style and dynamic with the press. It's not about the Muslim ban. Why wouldn't you enter the realm of play? So there's a power in that.
And impressions can ingrain associations in the public imagination, branding politicians clumsy, clueless.
And I can see Russia from my house.
A celebrity before his presidency, Trump knows exactly how dangerous that branding can be.
What'll be interesting to see is the extent to which SNL is prepared to adjust in real time. And, you know, how much are they wanting to poke the bear? Because it does feel as though right now they are writing their show because they know that the most powerful man in the world and his Android phone are watching.